Entschuldigung für meine Verspätung. I had some encounters of life, like we all do. Either way, let's get to it. Welcome to Aries season. Aries is a cardinal fire sign, meaning cardinal is a starter. They initiate things, and fire is a representative of passion and energy and action. So the starter of action, the starter of your passions. And especially because Aries represents the house of self, or the house of self, the first house of the body, your self-presentation, how you approach situations. The sun is also home, no, not home, but exalted in Aries, meaning it likes to be there, it likes to start things, it likes to initiate and put passion into something workable. On the 6th of April, we'll have a full moon in Libra. And if Aries represents the head, Libra represents the kidneys and the buttocks at 180 degrees further at the opposite. So it's a good month to reflect, refresh, and detoxify. Aries is I am, and when we're looking at the ruling planet of Aries, we're looking at Mars just entering Cancer. Mars doesn't like to be in Cancer. Mars is fallen in Cancer, meaning, Mars is in a detriment in Cancer, meaning it doesn't like to be in all that cardinal water. Like, it has all this fire, all this enthusiasm to go everywhere, and Cancer is just like, chill, relax, be easy. And the best thing I could advise you is just go with the flow. Don't fight water. Water can give you life, can also take it. So in this new month with the new moon, it's a good time to get a new focus. Week 12 is a week for resting and reflecting with the new moon. At first, the moon was in conjunction with Mercury, later on the day with Jupiter. Mercury being the thought communication in Aries, how you think, how you speak, how you do, and the expander in Aries. Maybe maybe expanding your mind about where you would like to be, where you would like to travel, but also in your expanding abundance and your higher knowledge. Later in the week, on Wednesday or something, Pluto also entered Aquarius for the first time. And I say the first time because Pluto is quite a slow planet, meaning when it goes retrograde, it will go back into Capricorn. And it will dip in and out of there. So the fixed signs may feel like instigating Plutonian energy, like, oh, I'm gonna heal, I'm gonna obsess over. Yeah. Do it or don't. It does not depend on Pluto being at a certain position, because in 2024, Pluto will fully enter Aquarius and will stay there for the upcoming 14 years. So if you're waiting for Pluto to be on 15 degrees, we'll continue. Moon will be in conjunction with Venus later in the week, throughout the weekend. So be dedicated towards your growth. As as Mars moved into Cancer on Friday, the 25th, it's more about you and being more in touch with your feelings. Try to be calmer and more receptive. And Mars will find the new fire of Leo at the 20th of May. In this weekend, Mercury will also be in conjunction with Chiron. As the moon grows, your ideas and your goals also grow. With Mercury in conjunction with Chiron, the wounded healer, let's say Chiron is like, okay, I got an arrow in the knee, and I can remove your arrow in the knee, but I cannot remove my arrow in the knee. That kind of wounded healer. I have a big mouth, And with this big mouth, I can help a lot of people, but I can also protect myself. But knowing where to open this mouth and how to open this mouth, I can use it effectively. So my communication skills, the communication, your communication skills, the collective communication skills, the collective Mercury on Chiron can reflect on your wounds. And maybe it's time to put those wounds into something action. Think about it. In week 13, we start with some sextiles. A sextile is an aspect of 60 degrees, exactly, well, 2 to 3 degrees in front or behind. So let's say 57 to 63 degrees is a sextile, but it has to be like 60 as the medium. A sextile can be formed like between Venus and Saturn. And then we have a feminine sextile. You can also have masculine sextiles, but that's something I'll talk about in another video. Let's see. These sextiles require efforts. They're harmonious like trines, but trines don't require a lot of effort. If you have a lot of trines in your own birth chart, like fire trines, water trines, those connections, it can make you quite lazy because everything goes so effortlessly. But with sextiles, they require you to put in the work and put in the action. And this month with the sun in Aries season, it's a nice month to come into action and see how you can come into action. Mercury will be in conjunction with Jupiter in week 13. So try to expand on your ideas and how you think about it and how you approach those ideas in Aries. Where can you expand on it? Where can you maybe give your own TED talk? Whatever. The world needs you, babe. On Thursday, the sun will be trining, having a fire trine with Lilith in Leo. So the sun is in the fiery action-orientated Aries, and the sun represents your vitality, and it will be trining effortlessly flowing with Lilith, the scorned woman, the scorned ex of Adam. In mythology, Lilith was Adam's wife before Eve, but got exiled from the Garden of Eden because she wanted equal rights or something. I know you know about it, and I know you can look up about it if you don't know about it. But this trine will instigate, because the fire signs are quite childlike, where Aries is quite childlike. No, it's quite childish, and Leo is quite childlike. We can have this unclassy, annoying sense of this is mine, Aries, me, I. This is mine because I am hurt. I am in need of this. I. Try to reflect on we. What are you doing for us? Or what are you bringing to the table why we are acting like this? So, yeah, me is hurt. We get it. But what kind of action, what kind of passion do you put in it? It's a good time. It's still a good time to reflect and to just dedicate and work on a plan. Prioritize how you want to be, how you want to be seen. Because later in the month, the sun will also be in conjunction with Chiron, but that's something I'll talk about a little later. Venus will be in conjunction with Uranus next week, Friday, in week 13. Meaning your love language and your eccentricity in Taurus. Venus being home in Taurus, so a good place to reflect on, okay, what is your word? What do you find more important? So what is word for you more than money? For me, seeds are more important than money. Why would I buy a lot of corn if I can buy one corn cob and save tree kernels. Those tree kernels I could dry, put in the ground, and get 3 whole corn plants. Those 3 corn plants will give me 9 corn cobs at minimum, and I can redo that cycle. That's my word. Some people see the eccentricity and the revolution. This is small, but they can see the eccentricity and the revolutionary feel of, yeah, being more dedicated to an earth element like seeds. And that's my love language. But what's your love language, and what do you value more in your being and in your having? The Leo is a the Taurus is a materialistic sign, so it's more about what you have. At the end of the month, of the week, the moon will be in the analytical sign of Virgo, so it's a nice time to analyze. Again, be dedicated and look at where you can adjust or what needs to be adjusted. And be open to the critics people would like to give you. With this trine, it's easy to be offended, to be like, you said what now? Like, that's kind of like a Lilith, that scorned woman. But try to be open to whatever people say, even if they try to criticize you negatively. See that, and see if there's a recurring pattern in it. And especially next week when we come to the full moon, but I'll talk about that in a bit. And if the criticism is positive, also try and be open to it, because it's easy to get hurt with this trine. But with this Mars in Cancer, it's a good time to reflect on your emotions before you take action. Because actions cannot be taken back. Words cannot be taken back. And yeah, all because you were just in a mood. Like Joey Dispenza said, oh yeah, someone said this about me. Now I'm pissed. When did it happen? Yeah, when I was 8. Don't be petty. Sometimes, but do it in a classy way. In week 14, Mercury will shift into Taurus finally, because Mars has been in the mutable, all over the place, intelligent Gemini for 8 months. It was in Gemini. It was almost at the end of Gemini, and then it went retrograde in Gemini, and then it went through Gemini again. Those 8 months, like my head, this whole dance, it all happened in my head for 8 months. So now the mind is finally a little quiet, doesn't really know what to do, talk about me, until Mercury finally settles into the stable, practical, female energy. Yes, female energy, I'll explain that later. Taurus. Like, oh my God, I need that. We're not there yet, so just bear with me. This week, as I'm uploading this now, Pluto entered the fixed sign of Aquarius. And yeah, in this week 14, on the 3rd of April, well, the 4th of April, when Mercury enters Taurus, it encounters a square with Pluto in Aquarius. And squares, all aspects, are kind of like conversations between planets. So it's like, yeah, you're just walking in and then you're just like, oh. And the square is like quite hard. It brings obstacle, it brings strain. So it's not a nice conversation between two planets. The equation is what, how, where. What, which planet? How, which sign? Where, which house? Where Aquarius is also a quite humanitarian sign, they are for the collective. It's I know, I empower. And where Taurus, yeah, it's just Taurus, the me, the I know I have. I have, this knowledge, these communication skills, these thoughts. So I know I can empower the collective whilst the requests for explaining astrology is growing. And I know it's a sin to keep it to myself. And I have the skills, I have the knowledge to distribute it. So instead of working against that and being like, maar ik stotter, and all, being like I stutter and all that stuff, just do it. I'll perfect it along the way. You know what you have, but you know what you desire. Are you going to stick with the haves, or are you going to stick with the desires? The moon will be in opposition with Neptune before the moon shifts into Libra and forms a full moon. This opposition is like a conversation. Okay, like what are we doing? What is it that we are doing about the your feelings, your emotions, your moods, and the illusions or disillusions that are keeping you, because these are Virgo feelings about your habits, about your health habits, your work habits, about analyzing and stuff, and the illusions about your unconscious. It's how do you call it? Oh my god, let me find my Pisces thing real quick. Everything just fell. Self-pitying behavior. Yeah, so it's about that. It's about self-pitying behavior. And are there still illusions, disillusions you need to break, you need to leave, you need to defeat? And as this full moon arrives, we're arriving at our open enemies, because Libra does represent your partners in well, not really marriage, just your open platonic relationships, romantic relationships, but not like marriage, because that's a little bit deeper. That's more for Scorpio thing. But it's also about relationships you hold with your enemies, your open enemies. So all these illusions and ideas you've gathered, aren't they just put on you by certain people? And if those certain people are still in your life and still put those illusions and that pressure on you, are they for your greatest good? It's a time to reflect on that while this full moon shines a light on those people, on those things, on those habits, whatever. Because the sun is you, your vitality, but what is stopping you, or what is letting you? Because this opposition, again, it's two sides of the same coin. Are you going to use it to your benefit, or are you going to use it to pity and defeat yourself? You are the people that you hang out with. Being aware is half the challenge. As the sun moves through Aries, it will be in conjunction with Chiron. Chiron, again, that wounded healer. I love transits like these, because they really reflect on your weaknesses. And if you cannot see your weaknesses, how can you work with them, or how can you better them? Because it's not really about perfectioning the whole time. It's about redefining your skills, polishing, make it all more polished. And that's why you need that self-reflection and that introspection to make those connections with what do you do for yourself, or what do others do for yourself. Yeah, so as the sun is in conjunction with Chiron, we can really see, okay, these are the wounds that I have with which I can still help other people. Oh, Mercury is also going to be in conjunction with the North Node. And the North Node is where the collective needs to be, needs to go, and needs to grow towards. So Mercury being the thoughts and the communication, maybe this will be a day where we can openly discuss without having too much judgment about on people about this, that. Oh, that's really weird. You with your seeds. Keep that to yourself. In week 15, we start with a void of course. A void of course means that the moon isn't making any aspects. The moon shifts every 2.5 days, so why Cancer is moody? Well, most of the time Cancer risings, but I'm going to explain that in another video, I promise. The moon can make a mutable square with Saturn and Pisces, but that's later in the day. But actually, the next day, because the moon will be there for 2.5 days. So the first day the moon will be arriving there, she won't make any aspects, and a lot of astrologers say, I don't do anything at that time because you don't know what will happen. Yeah, so some people do believe like, oh, don't do anything. I'm not gonna do nothing for a whole Monday. Apparently I am, but going to do that consciously and not because the moon is in a void, of course. Just a little thing of knowledge. The 11th of April, Venus will be entering Gemini. Gemini is a wishy-washy, all over the place Aries sign, and at the end of spring also quite open to everything and stuff. So be careful where you put your interest in, because Venus will only be there until the 7th of May. So be careful for being quick of pleasure with art and beauty and lovers and STDs. So yeah. On Wednesday, the 12th of April, the sun will be in conjunction with Jupiter, the expander. Hold on, wait a minute. Don't do things too quick. Don't go on far places yet, because aspects. The sun and Jupiter is an expander. Jupiter is a good planet which brings you abundance and joy and luck and blah 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 blah, in conjunction with the sun. So in your vitality and in your light, la 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 la. But let's say your Mars will be in square with this aspect, and Mars also rules accidents. Be careful and be aware of those accidents that may happen, because maybe you'll say, let me just drive this motorcycle today, because you have this expansive feeling of I can drive a motorcycle, and knowing that Jupiter will be in conjunction with the sun, you're like, the Aries can do this, childlike, la 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 la. And your Mars, because it's not this Mars, your Mars is squaring. The accidents that can happen will also be expanded, because be aware, be in the know. That's how you can flow. Either way, what I wanted to say is that this isn't a square yet, because you have to be at an exact degree or 3 degrees ahead or 3 degrees later. So let's say Mars will be at 15 degrees and this happens at 25 degrees. You're 10 degrees too far. There is no easy way. By being stupid, I don't think stupid is easy, but yeah, just saying. Thursday, the 13th, the moon will be in conjunction with Pluto for the first time in Aquarius. Acknowledge your abundance and let go. Leave enough for the rest. And balance, just trust. That's what Pluto does. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, and a Scorpio just trust and know that everything will be okay. But you have to put in the effort. If you don't put in efforts, like, are you training or something? Yeah, that balance, that trust. And the 14th, February the 14th, the moon will be squaring Saturn. stop pitying yourself. Stop being so self-defeated and go with the flow. Like it's a mutable this mutable square. It can change your feelings, like oh, I want it to be here, I want it to be there, oh, you're putting all these boundaries on me. It's not cute. Stop thinking you're the victim in every situation and see further. It's maybe your mom said, oh, we're going to Disneyland, and eventually you're going to Disneyland 2.0. At least she took you somewhere. Be appreciative of that. Stop pitying yourself and go with the flow. Unless that flow is not beneficial to you, just go. Just go. You are free to go where you want. Never feel stuck to anything. And at the end of the week, the moon will come back to Pisces. And it's time to just reflect. Reflect. What did you do? What did you do? What now? So to put this all together, it's a time of starting, reflecting, and creating space. As Mercury enters Taurus this month, don't speak until you are sure. And I am sure of my annoyance of a new phenomenon called Tate Boys. I don't know if someone already stamped it, but Tate Boys, I don't like them. Because what is it? That Andrew Tate, he has a lot of valuable points. But I listen to Reddit stories at on the background sometimes, and when it gets to relationships, it's always like, yeah, I was seeing this guy, and yeah, he was listening to podcasts, and yeah, apparently they fall out because he's too much of a tater tot. Like the book, The 84 Laws of Powers. Take what's for you and leave enough for the rest. Because a lot of people were also hating on this book, and I actually think it's a quite nice book. If you take what's for you and leave enough for the rest. I do not encounter half the things happening in this book, so why should I act like it? I know the majority of them tater tots do not encounter the people or the situations Andrew Tate encounters. So why would you act like that? Take what's for you and leave enough for the rest. Because, like, who are you trying to be? Be aware and sure of yourself. Because we can see right through you. And as for the ladies, we're all like, soft girl era. I'm so soft. I'm so modest. How? I know what your house looks like. I know what you eat in a day. I know how you dress. I know where you get your clothes from. How are you modest? You dress modest, but do you behave modest? I know I have a big mouth, but I know where I can open that big mouth. I know I have a large personality, but I know where I can bring that personality. And my Saturn return told me I can bring my personality here. And if it's not welcome, I'll reflect on that and look back on it and take accountability. But where's your accountability? Where's your modesty? Let me see it, please. Would love to see it. But as Mars also shifts into Cancer this month, be more soft. Try and be more softer in your approach. Mars just like an hour ago just entered Mars, so don't excuse me. Take the time to reflect on your feelings and your intention behind your expression and go for the softer approach. You get a lot further with softness. You can also tell someone to fuck off with softness. The sun in Aries, very, very exalted. I'm loving the vibes. I don't know if you're loving the vibes, but grab the year by the neck, make it your... That's how it works. That's how it works. You gotta fake it till you make it, babe. We got this. And with this whole full moon on the 6th of April, reflect on your love and where you want to be action orientated. Analyze, reflect. You love to do it. I know I love to do it. And dare to see, honestly. Not be, see. Like, You only know what people show you, but maybe if you look better, you can see the things that people really want to show you. So this month, yeah, the head, the kidneys, drink enough water. Move and see bloom. It will be easy to go with nature if you just let go in autumn, reflect in winter, and just bloom in springtime. Thank you for your time and your openness, and I'll see you next month. Love you.